Alright, so greetings from a wet, chilly day here in Pennsylvania. Today is November 13th, a Saturday, and it's time to do another one of my French and Indian War video. Continue that series. I haven't done one of those videos for a while. I've been kind of preoccupied doing some other things, some other filming, but time to change that. So the plan today is to visit the location of at least 4 forts. Fort Norris, Fort Hamilton, which is in Stroudsburg, and then head up into the Delaware Water Gap to find Fort Dupay and Fort Hindshaw. So that is the plan, and we'll probably tell a couple stories along the way too. And as usual with these videos, some of the footage will just be us driving along to those different locations. So we'll see. The rain may stop, we'll see, but kind of makes for an interesting day too. And some of you may remember this map. This was sent to me some time ago. I have it inside the Jeep today, but we're up here is Fort Norris. We're gonna check out Fort Norris. We'll talk about this massacre right here, the Frederick Heath or Hoth massacre, and then we're gonna head up into Stroudsburg at the very top of the map. Fort Hamilton. There's also Fort Penn, but that's Revolutionary War era. They often get confused. In fact, I have a book that has Fort Hamilton listed as Fort Penn, and the other 2 forts we're gonna visit are up this way off the map. I'm also going to go ahead and throw up a map, Google Maps image of the 4 sites, or at least the approximate location of the 4 sites we're going to visit in today's video. Let's get back in the Jeep. It's a little bit drier, and we'll start this journey. As like I said, we'll be filming as I drive a little bit. Might be talking a little bit about these places before we get to them. So we ain't staying out in the rain as much, but we'll see. All right, let's get back. I have the door open over there, and Naomi's getting a little wet. All right, let's get going. Alright, so time to head out of Beltsville State Park. I came down what's called Preacher Camp Road, not too far from that Country Junction store, if you're familiar with the area. And we're headed towards the town of Craigsville. I probably butchered that, but that's where we're headed. I think we'll stop at the historical marker first. Like there's the modern blue historical markers, and then there's the more of a stone granite marker, and then we'll head to the approximate location of where the fort was located. I mean, even with the rain, it's a beautiful day. There's still some fall color out. Rainy days have a feel all their own. Right up here is the junction with 209 by the Sunoco station. Not too busy. Alright, so we need to head into town, and the markers are right across from the Dollar General store. Right near daycare, they should be. Yeah, so Fort Norris was one of the 4 Franklin forts, as we call them, because those are the 4 forts that were overseen by Benjamin Franklin, because they were also built in response to what was called the Nadenhuten massacre, which we filmed number of months ago. I believe that occurred in October of 1755. We're talking about the French and Indian War era here. It was the 4 forts were Fort Franklin, Fort Allen, which we visited both of those already. Fort Allen was in Weisport, and had an old well there, Franklin's well, but the fort itself was actually under a parking lot. And then the last 2, Fort Norris and Fort Hamilton, we'll do in this video. I think the actual Fort Norris itself was completed in February of 1756. Yeah, look at those beautiful colors out there yet. Alright, we have made it into town, the town of Craigsville. I'll try to say it correctly. This is Route 534. I know one of these roads off to the right will take us down to the area where the fort actually was. Oh, yep, here's the Dollar General. There's the daycare off to our... So we're gonna pull over. Okay, I see this. I see the markers. So we're gonna pull over into this lot here. Take a look at them. Alright, so let's take a quick look here in the rain. Got two of them. Here's the modern one. Fort Norris, built in 1756 by the province of Pennsylvania. A series of forts erected during the French and Indian War. The site was about a mile distant from here, but here's the older marker. Fort Norris was a mile southeast of here, built under the direction of James Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin. Saw some of the commanders, the captains that were here. Located strategically for the guarding of the settlers north of the Blue Mountains during the French and Indian War. Alright, let's just hop back in the Jeep and try to get to roughly where the site that this fort actually was. We're going to go back, head back in town a little bit and take a left. Alright, so head back in town. I think we got to take a left right up here. I think it was called this, yeah, Kunkeltown. I think it's called Silver Spring Road. Pretty sure this takes us where we need to go. I don't think they actually know, I'm not sure if they know the exact location of the fort anymore. Sometimes with these forts, you know, from the 1750s, there's nothing left at all, and the places get lost to history. Or the exact location does. But I'm going to head to the area roughly. I found an old map online that shows roughly where it is. Of course, it's all private property too, so we can't just go wandering around looking at it, looking for it. Alright, so I'm looking for a road up here called, what was it called, Mountain View Road or something like that? Let me check my map here. Yeah, Mountain View Drive. Should be up to our left. You know, our road should be up here. Yeah, right here. And that Frederick Heath, or Frederick Hoth, I forget how I'm not sure how you pronounce the name, H-O-E-T-H, that massacre occurred just in this area as well. We'll talk more about that massacre a little bit later in this video. That's one reason why Fort Norris was built at this location. Yeah, so somewhere off to our left is where the fort was. Like I said, people aren't exactly sure where. I might find a place to pull over though in a bit here. Yeah, so I just quick pulled over onto a road called Pine Court. And I think back here somewhere is where, from what I could tell in that old map, off in the woods up there somewhere, roughly. I think we can't really go much further, it's all private property back here. Alright, so that is about the best I can do with Fort Norris on a day like this with the rain and everything, and the private property. I'll throw a map up of where the historical marker is located and where the fort was roughly located, according to what I could determine from that old map that I saw. Like I said, that's iffy. Other people might disagree with that. Alright, but we're going to head into Stroudsburg now, close to the Delaware Water Gap, and we're going to head into town and look for the location of Fort Hamilton, which is located right in the modern town of Stroudsburg. I think right on Route 611, roughly. So let's keep going on this beautiful rainy day. Alright. Alright, so we're going to continue on Route 209 on our way to Stroudsburg. I think it's about 15 miles to Stroudsburg, which makes sense because these forts were roughly about 12 miles apart. So you could travel to one, you know, in a day between them. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about Fort Norris, you know, who's it named after? Well, it's named after, I believe it was Isaac Norris, who was Speaker of the Pennsylvania Assembly for some time. And if I remember correctly, he is the one that commissioned what we now call the Liberty Bell, which is in Philadelphia. I think he commissioned that in, was it 1751, I believe? It wasn't known as the Liberty Bell to begin with, but that has a history all its own. So that's kind of a unique tie into that whole story. Alright, but onwards to Stroudsburg and Fort Hamilton. So Fort Hamilton will be the last of the Franklin forts that we visit. Which, as mentioned already, these Franklin forts were built directly as a result of some of the massacres in the area. Naden-Houghton Massacre, and the one I mentioned, the Hoth Massacre, we'll call it. That occurred on December 10th of 1755. And one of the survivors was taken to Philadelphia, and I think a couple of days later on the 12th, and he spoke before the Pennsylvania Assembly about what happened. Of course, that helps, you know, them decide, hey, you know, we need to have some forts up here. Because you remember I talked about in a previous video, the government of Pennsylvania was largely Quakers and, you know, pacifists, whereas the people out here frontier were not, and they're the ones that were being attacked by the Indians and stuff. So there was a bit of a, you know, difference of opinion on things. But having someone like that come and talk about, you know, an actual witness, talk about the massacres, helped convince the Pennsylvania Assembly that they indeed needed to build some of these forts. That's why Franklin was then commissioned to oversee the construction of many of these. You know, I'm kind of going to be merging onto Interstate 80 here in a bit. Not just yet, though. I think we just merged with, 33, Stroudsburg, Easton. Yeah, here we are merging onto Interstate 80. Of course, Interstate 80 and Route 209 will go along together here for a while. On our way to Stroudsburg. I think I'm going to turn off right over here, though. That's why I want Business 209 is right up ahead here. Exit 305. Okay. A little quicker than I thought. That's what my directions say. So we're going to head in. This will take us into Stroudsburg, and we want to look for Route 611. We'll take a left onto that. At least that's the plan. Well, the rain is slowing down, so that will take that. I see signs up here for junction with 611. So we'll take a left up here. There should be a Lutheran church up here, and there should be a historical marker for Fort Hamilton. At least I'm hoping there is. Well, I see it right now. I don't know if it's showing up on the... Yeah, it should show up on the left of the screen there by that big house there. Let's see, Fort Hamilton. Alright, we'll see if we can find a place to park and get there. Alright, so I found parking here in the church parking lot. I think this is St. Joseph's Church. And there's a church across the way, St. John's. We gotta wait for traffic here. We gotta run over. So I think back this way, so this Church Alley, I think back around here somewhere is where Fort Hamilton was located. Of course, it's all built up now. Let's walk up to the marker. Alright, right up here it is at the intersection. Yeah, Fort Hamilton, built at direction of Benjamin Franklin, named after James Hamilton, a member of the Governor's Council, stood northwest of here, 55 to 57, one of the Chena forts, abandoned in 1757. Yeah, so just northwest of here would be, back where I mentioned, back behind this church a little bit. Well, that's St. Luke's Catholic Church, not St. Joseph's. Sorry about that. St. John's Lutheran Church is on this side. Yes, I'm thinking, like I said, back down that way somewhere was where it was located. But as you can see, it's all built up. Probably nothing left. All right, just gonna make our way across here again. So this one's a little bit similar to Fort Allen. Fort Allen, the location is now in the town of Weisport and built over. Same with Fort Hamilton here. Whatever is left of it is underneath buildings and parking lots and stuff. But yeah, here in Stroudsburg. Yeah, I know this fort was delayed. I think it wasn't finished till February 20th of 1756, I think. I know Benjamin, he sent information asking why. I guess that they were under provisioned, they didn't have enough food, enough tools. So I know he sent a bunch of like bread and beef and new tools for them to help them finish this fort, and then they were able to finish it. Alright, let's hop back in the Jeep and we'll keep going. We're going to head further closer to the Delaware Water Gap itself. Fort Dupay. I've seen this fort spelled I don't know how many different times, so we'll just call it Fort Dupay. Alright, so we are back on Main Street here in Stroudsburg. We gotta get back, oh that sounds awful. We gotta get back to Route 209, the main highway. Make our way to the town of Shawnee on the Delaware. That's what it's called, Shawnee on the Delaware. And that's where our next fort is located, Fort Dupay. If the traffic lets us get there. Alright, so we're back on Interstate 80 / Route 209. Just up ahead, 209 will veer off for us. We'll get off this interstate. Hopefully a little bit less traffic. Yep, here's the exit. North 209. Alright, so things have calmed down a little bit. Back on just Route 209. Now we need to find what's called Buttermilk Falls Road. Which shouldn't be too far up here. There's actually some waterfalls there, but it's kind of like private property. Yeah, so this Fort Dupay was not a huge fort. It wasn't even one it was more of what's called a commissary fort. It held supplies for other forts. But it's still a commissioned fort by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, though. I feel like this is it up here. Yeah, Buttermilk Falls Road. And of course, there's nothing left of this one either. Of the original fort, I should say. Alright, so we're on Buttermilk Falls Road, and then at the end here we're going to take a left on the River Road. So there is a house where the fort was located, according to some of the sites I've said. Because they claim, no, the fort is still standing, but what's there is most likely not at all the original fort. You know, it might have been a house built on the location of where it was. And it's named after the some settlers in the area. The last name of Dupay. I think it was Nicholas Dupay. I think they moved here in like 1727. Dutch, I believe they were Dutch as well. Dutch settlers. Of course, as with a lot of wars, their house was kind of taken over during the war to be used as a fort, but they were allowed to return after the war. Yep, here's River Road. I'll take a left. And there is a marker, I think, right along the road for Nicholas Dupay. I'm not sure if we'll stop for that one. Parking might be a little bit odd down here. But there is a Dupay Road, which we'll turn down to what supposedly is the location of the fort. It's just the town, Shawnee on the Delaware. I've been here before. It is a nice little place. Shawnee General Store. Just keep going straight here. Oh, we're gonna do a video. There's the Shawnee Presbyterian Church is up here. I'll probably do a separate video on that church. Yeah, Shawnee Presbyterian Church. Yep, here's the sign. Oh, here's Dupay Road, actually. It's spelled different there, Dupay. But here's Nicholas Dupay. First, I think I can stop no traffic here. First known settler in this region, 1727. His home, stockade and garrison, became Fort Dupay of the French and Indian War. Alright, so there you go. But I think the road turns and comes back up this way too, Fort Dupay Road. Alright, so I've turned around and we're going to head down that Dupay Road. Like I said, I've seen it spelled, who knows, maybe like 20 different ways. There's our sign again, Nicholas Dupay. So there's a road named after it. Dupay Road. So once again, this is all private property back there, so we're not really going to be able to get out and see it. I don't want to draw too much attention to myself, as always. I think we might be able to see it from the car here, where the site was. I think there's a big, nice house there right now, but obviously that wasn't there during the war. Yeah, these are all nice places. Okay, I believe it's this one from the pictures I've seen. As I turn here, it's this one right here. Off to the right. Even has a sign there, Fort Dupay. You can see it from the car. Kind of a neat place there. So that is not the original fort, though. It did look like that back then. But it's obvious it might be the place where it was located, though. I had a map that kind of showed it being a little bit somewhere else, but sometimes those old maps are a bit... Well, they're old maps. Sometimes it's not always accurate. So that may or may not be the original site. That's some of the websites I came across said it was, but I saw some old maps that said it might be in a slightly different location, but that's kind of difficult sometimes when you're talking, things that are that old. Alright, we're going to make our way. Actually, I'm going to stop somewhere else to film for a little bit, but then after I'm done filming that, we're going to head to Fort Hindshaw, further up in the Delaware Water Gap. I guess we'll go this way. I'll just give you a quick preview of the Shawnee Presbyterian Church. Look at the old cemetery in the back there. Beautiful day to film a cemetery, actually. But anyway, we'll get back to the French and Indian War series here in just a bit. I gotta film here first, though. Then we'll head to Fort Hindshaw. Alright, well there's a look again at that Shawnee Presbyterian Church. Awesome place. Some cool history. It's just cold out here today. My hands got cold out there filming and the rain picked up again. Breeze picked up a little bit. Alright, well we need to say goodbye to Shawnee on the Delaware. Beautiful little town. Head back to Route 209. Make our way to Fort Hindshaw. I still gotta tell you that there's another story I gotta tell you too about the massacre, the Hoth massacre. I want to tell you a little bit about that. I was hoping to go for a little walk up near Fort Hindshaw, but we'll see. We'll see what the weather's like when we get up there. I was hoping to tell that story as we went for a little walk, rather than tell it while I'm driving in the Jeep here. But we'll see. Alright, let's get back to 209. We're not at 209 yet again, but it's a beautiful drive back here. I believe this is called a Hollow Road. Yep, Hollow Road. But this should take us to 209. Kind of nice to be off the big highways too. Yeah, so Fort Hindshaw will mark the farthest eastern extent of these forts here in Pennsylvania, of the officially commissioned forts by the colonial government of Pennsylvania. Yeah, right up here is 209 again. North 209. Well, in a moment we'll be on it. And we'll keep our eyes open for Fort Hindshaw. Now we stopped at this historical marker in a previous video some time ago, but we didn't really go looking for where it was. This one's actually within the Delaware Water Gap, so we'll actually be able to pull over and maybe see if there's any kind of remains. Let's check to see if any traffic's coming. I'm not sure if there is, but we'll see. Because all the other forts we visited today were on private property. Or at least there was, even if they weren't, there was absolutely nothing left. Like Fort Hamilton is in town, built over. The other two are on private property. So this one's not. This one's on public property, national parkland, or I guess it's a national recreation area. But basically national parkland. So we can have a walk around and have a look. Even though it's kind of a slightly dreary day, we might have a look around. So I also want to tell you that story about the massacre, the Hoth family. It is pretty interesting. A bit brutal, but interesting. Alright, so we have entered the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, officially now. So that marker should not be too much further up here if I remember correctly. Not sure if I'll pull over along the road. Is this Community Drive? Yeah, the marker is... Oh, yeah, right there it is. I'm going to pull over right here, actually. Yeah, so right here is the marker. Fort Hindshaw, built in 1756 by order of the province of Pennsylvania. Northernmost of the lines of defenses erected during the French and Indian War. So somewhere up this way, I mean there's some There's some interesting stonework up there. I don't know if that's fort related or not. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to park here either, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's what this stuff is or if it's something else. There's definitely some interesting stonework here. I'm gonna go ahead and find a different place to park. I might have to walk a little bit, but I don't think the fort was right by the road here either, but interesting rocks. But we're gonna go for a little walk. Rain has slowed down a little bit. Just a little bit further up the road is, I think, a parking area, and there's a trail just back here. So let's go do that. So I want to tell you that story too about the massacre. Maybe we'll do that while we're going for a walk. So I parked here. I believe this is called the Bushkill Meeting House. It's one of the places you can park. I think the trail back here is called the McDade Trail. See if we can get back there. I think I see it over there. I'm not sure where the trailhead is. Maybe over here we can get up. We'll see. Alright, so I believe I found it here. On the other side of the building, Bushkill Village Trailhead. McDade Recreational Trail. So should go up this way. We should go off to the right. Rain has slowed down at least. Yeah, so check out this beautiful color. I mean, most of the larger trees have dropped their leaves, but some beautiful reds back here. Yeah, so the original plan was to walk this trail back to that site where Fort Hindshaw was. And as I go along, to tell you the story of the Hoth family, or the Heath family, like, 'cause I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But we'll see how far we get. I did find gloves in the Jeep, because I was filming at the church there. That other video, my hands started to get cold. It's like the first really chilly day of the season for filming. All right, let me tell you a little bit about that story of the Heath family, Hoth family. Of course, this massacre occurred right near where Fort Norris was located, and one of the reasons why it was built where it was. And this is the account given by Mariana, who was one of the survivors of this attack. She was actually taken captive for some time, but yeah, in the evening of December 10th, 1755, they heard distraction outside, probably dogs barking and stuff like that, and yeah, the dad went to check it out, and he was killed immediately by a bullet. And almost just a moment later, the mom and a younger sister were killed as well, just like that. There were some other folks in the house, and some ran off. I think some might have stayed in the house, but Mariana and two of her sisters were captured and taken captive. It's kind of interesting. They had them walk all the way up to Tioga, Pennsylvania, which is up in northern PA. Quite a long ways to walk. But walk they had to. And on her way, or once she was up in Tioga, she did witness the killing of one of the captives from the Nadenhuten massacre. I think her name was Susanna. Oh, the last name is going to be awful. Susanna, starts with an N. But she was one of the captives taken, like I said, at Nadenhuten. Of course, they didn't know what happened to Susanna, if she had lived or was taken a captive, but Mariana's account confirmed that she had not only been taken captive, but had been killed later on. Yeah, there might be some raindrops on the camera lens. I apologize for that, but it's that kind of day. And then at some point, Mariana was forced to get married. She initially refused, but then in order to get her to change her mind, they basically tied her to a tree and started to light a fire under her. So basically, get married or burn. So she decided to get married. And in the end, it didn't turn out so bad for her. She said that he treated her well. He even wished that she could be with her own people, but you know, it is what it is. She did eventually escape then, with a son. She had a son with her Indian husband. She did eventually escape with her young son and came back to the area. I think more down near Lancaster she returned to. But I don't think her son lived that long. I think he died not too long after. And she herself only lived, I think, maybe the 35. So she didn't live that long either. And of the other two sisters that were taken into captivity, all they know of one is that she married a Frenchman, and the other one, they have no idea what happened to her. No record, so who knows. So yeah, that's just another story from the French and Indian War. There's a ton of stories, similar stories like those. So I can tell one every now and then in this series. A lot of them are similar. It's gonna be time to put the umbrella up again here soon. Maybe get the gloves out. So I'm gonna turn you off for a little bit until I get close to maybe where Fort Hindshaw was. I gotta try and figure out where I am in relation to that sign. So yeah, it is seriously overgrown off trail back here. So we're probably gonna let this search go for today. If I do go busting through that stuff, I'm gonna get soaked anyway. All right. Nice little hike though. But I think we're gonna turn around. I kind of wonder if this was the original road too, that may have taken you to Fort Hindshaw back in the day, rather than the modern road. But I think that'll be it then for this video. Even with the umbrella and everything, I'm getting a little cold and wet. It's still a nice day though. You know, the colors really pop out with this type of cloudiness and stuff. All right, I still had a great time even with the rain, stopping at different locations. So, as always, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you around.